Hello everyone, this is Parchment Lore, and I just wanted to make a quick video thanking you all for helping this channel reach the 2,000 subscriber milestone. Thank you all so much for subscribing. I'm super excited to make more short and long form content in the future, whether it's about conlanging, linguistics, world building, or something else. I wouldn't have a channel at all without your help, so thank you. By the way, if you have any video suggestions, put them in the comment section below. And now, here are 3 linguistic facts about summer. The word summer can tentatively be traced back to a Proto-Indo-European root, semh, which could have meant summer, year, or half year. Since a root couldn't stand on its own without suffixes and the like in Proto-Indo-European, we get the form of smcheros or smchoros. The vowel is up for debate since the data is sparse, and both vowels would end up the same in the next stage of the language anyway. Assuming that the word was smcheros, the laryngeal h would color the a vowel to a, so we have smcharos. Then the syllabic adopted an epenthetic u, so now the word is sumcharos. Then the laryngeal dropped off, leaving sumaros. After unaccented vowels, sh became zh, so we have sumaros. Then the stress shifted to the first syllable, leaving sumaros. Then both a and o merged to the back o, leaving the final Proto-Germanic form as sumaros. In the West Germanic language, the o's at the end dropped off, leaving the Proto-West Germanic sumor. In Old English, the o in this situation became o, and it's possible that the sh lost its retraction, giving sumor. In Middle English, through a final syllable vowel reduction, it became sumar. And finally, in the Modern English period, the loss of the trilled r, rhoticization of the previous vowel, and the reduction of u gives my dialect's pronunciation summer. If you know how and where to look, the majority of the vocabulary between most Romance languages, those that descend from Latin, are decently similar. For example, we have the Latin arbor, meaning tree, the Spanish arbol, the French arbre, the Italian albero, the Brazilian Portuguese arvore, and the Romanian arbore. However, the word for summer in those languages is separated into 2 main classes, the E class, with the French été and the Italian estate, and the V class, with the Spanish verano, the Portuguese verão, and the Romanian vara. So what caused this difference? Well, the first class is inherited directly from the Latin word for summer, aestas, or more accurately, the oblique form aestatem. Then where does the V group come from? This class got their words from the Latin ver, meaning spring. In Spanish and Portuguese, the words verano and verão come from a shortening of tempus veranum, springtime, and the Romanian vara comes from the late Latin vera, which was the word where after it got regularized as a feminine noun ending in a. This may seem pretty strange that the word for spring became summer, but it becomes a bit easier to understand when you look at the rise of the late Latin primavera, for spring, but better translated as early spring. Though first, it did mean strictly early spring, and underwent semantic generalization and fully encroached onto the meaning of where. This meant that, to compensate, where, meaning spring, was probably pushed into the designation of late spring, and finally into the domain of the whole next season, summer. In fact, the influence of primavera and the somewhat related primum tempus, first season, was so great that the word for spring is relatively united among the Romance languages in this way. We have the Spanish primavera, the French printemps, the Italian primavera, the Portuguese primavera, and the Romanian primavera. From that list, we can see that it even supplanted where in languages like French and Italian, which had already kept the old word for summer. The last interesting fact is that, as could probably be expected, there are some languages around the world that have greater or fewer words for the seasons than English. For example, in Hawaiian, summer is only one of the 2 words for the seasons. The dry season, which could be called summer from May to October, is called kau, or kauela, and the wet season, which could be called winter from October to April, is called ho'oilo, or kauho'oilo. Meanwhile, the ancient Vedic Sanskrit, an Indo-European language, had 6 seasons, the third of which can sort of be seen as an extension of summer, and the 6th an extension of winter. And I should note that I'm inexperienced in Sanskrit, so apologies for my mispronunciations. Spring is vasanta, summer is grishma, the rainy season is varsha, fall is sharad, early winter is haimanta, and winter is shishira. Well, that was 3 linguistic facts about summer, and some other seasons, I guess. Again, thank you all for subscribing. Hope you all have a great start to your late summers, and if you have any cool linguistics facts about the seasons, put them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Farewell for now, friends!